Mr. Chair. H.R. 1837 claims to restore the flow of water to be leaguered communities in the world's most productive and highly valued agricultural region. And I'm introducing into the record a copy of California's agricultural production and gross cash income for the 3 drought years from 07 to 09. They went from 36.6 billion to 32.8 to 34.8 in those 3 drought years. When CVPIA was enacted in 1992, Bob Weiss, Vice President of the California Farm Bureau Federation, said that the CVP bill will cripple farmers in the nation's most productive agricultural region without solving California's basic water problem. Farmers, farm workers, and consumers will suffer because growers will be forced to idle land, lay off workers, and produce less food and fiber. This is in 92. 19 years later, the Delta water exports have increased, and agriculture revenues and production has increased. As I've pointed out, it's increased by billions of dollars. The environment and the fishing industry, which, by the way, closed last 3 years, has not fared as well. 1887 seeks to make sweeping and damaging changes to the CVPIA. It extends water contracts for a total period of 40 years and continue in perpetuity without completion of any environmental mitigation or consideration for climate change. It removes tiered water pricing that encourage water conservation and efficiency, diminishes the funds for restoration, totally eliminates the co-equal goal of protecting the environment and allowing for water deliveries. It repeals the San Joaquin Restoration Settlement Act, over 2 decades of litigation and legislation worked on by all and agreed on by all parties. This would create legal and water rights and certainty for all parties involved, and I think mostly our legal beagles would be greatly enhancing this. This bill also preempts state law and attempts to place the water demands of some of California's most junior water rights holders ahead of all other California interests. State rights are historic and fundamental principle of Western water rights. The usurping of states' rights set a bad precedent, and it will be a call to arms to all 49 other states and should not be taken lightly. This legislation also severely limits ongoing environmental protection efforts and deems that requirements of the Endangered Species Act are met at levels defined in 1994 Bay Delta Accord. We face a challenging ecosystem coupled with new scientific knowledge. In the early 1990s, home internet use through the dial-up service was also revolutionary. Technology has improved as the years have progressed. Deeming environmental protections adequate based on a once revolutionary but now scientifically out-of-date Bay Delta Accord is like asking internet users to go back to the days of dial-up instead of using the available high-speed service. The minority subcommittee members were afforded only 1 witness. Due to the severity of the possible state impacts from 1887, Secretary Larry filled our only slot. There are other stakeholders who are also impacted and did not get a chance to voice their opinion today. Submitted into the records will be letters from the California State Legislature signed by Senate Pro Tem, Assembly Chairs, Speaker of the House, Chairs of the Natural Resources, Water Parks, and Wildlife in opposition. And they quote, 1837 undermines judicial agreements, erodes longstanding water right principles, usurps California sovereignty, and lays waste to any hope of progress in the Delta. Letters from dozen fishing industries in opposition. There are no strong enough words to describe the complete devastation this bill would bring to the Central Valley salmon runs and those who depend on them for their livelihoods, recreation, and food source. Letter from the Central Delta Water Agency, and in opposition, would transfer responsibility of complying with state river flow and quality protections above the Bay Delta Accord to a non-export project water right holder under the California law and are senior to the exporters. We must have a balanced approach in solving our California water problems using the best available science and integrating new technology and having everyone at the table. 1837 moves us in reverse and prevents the state and all those involved with the Bay Delta Conservation Program from moving forward. The act has nothing to do with reliability and everything to do with uncertainty, and it certainly does not create jobs. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Back.